It is your boy, Phoenix Brenton here, and welcome to today's video. In today's video, we are going to be talking about the New Orleans Saints. Now, before we get into today's video, like and subscribe. We're on the road to getting to 700 subscribers, at least by the time I'm making this video. But anyways, enough said. Let's get into today's video. And the New Orleans Saints are, I think, a very interesting team to talk about respectively because I feel like a lot of people are saying, oh, this is the sleeper team heading into 2026 and yada 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 and stuff and like that. And I'm gonna say Boulder Dash because I don't think this is the most sleepiest team in the NFL. To me, I think it's probably going to be potentially the New York Giants. I think that's a potential sleeper team. I think another sleeper team could be the Las Vegas Raiders, the Tennessee Titans. I think there are a lot more sleepier teams than the Saints just because the reason why I don't want to include the Saints on this list, even the Falcons, I think are a bigger sleeper hit than this team, is mainly because of their division. It's just like their division is such an easy cakewalk that literally any team in, I think a lot of teams that are in different divisions have a chance to win this division. I mean, for crying out loud, the Cardinals, who I say is the worst team in the league, I think has a shot to win this division because that's how bad this division is. I take that back, obviously, but still. Uh, but let's talk about their offseason. So let's start off with the additions that they did add. Obviously, the biggest addition that they went and added in free agency was, of course, Travis Etienne. They also went and added Ty Chandler. It's an underrated one that not a lot of people are talking about as of currently. They also went and added Noah Fant. They went and added David Edwards. They went and added Zach Wilson as well as the backup quarterback. They also traded for Tyreek Wilson, which that could be a little bit of a sneakier move. The reason why I say it's a little bit of a sneaky move is because Chase Young, who was also a draft bust, has been quite fine for this team. So who couldn't say it's the same thing for Tyreek Wilson? You know, just saying. I think it's something to point out. Obviously, the additions that they've lost are Demario Davis, Prosper Moreau, but that's kind of about it. They didn't really lose much pieces. They did also add in the draft as well with players like Jordan Tyson, Christian Miller, Oscar Depth, Jeremiah Wright, Bryce Lance. I love the Alonzo Styles pick in round 5. They went and did a lot of things right, I think. Maybe, again, my only complaint I would say for the Saints draft is the fact they went and drafted 3 receivers. You probably could have addressed it, I don't know, maybe edge with that, or linebacker potentially, because you did, after all, lose, what's his name again? Demario Davis, I'm sorry, but I digress. But looking at this team, specifically their roster is a pretty solid. I like their offense. Their offense is pretty solid with players like obviously Tyler Shuck. I think he could maybe take a decent step in year 2. Travis Etienne is a great running back with having Alvin Kamara as a backup. The receivers consist of Chris Olave, Jordan Tyson, who they just drafted last year, and Vialjo Vivi, who they actually, funny enough, traded last year. They also got Bryce Lance as well. I think he could be a potential underrated piece because he's the same. He's kind of had a comparison of Christian Watson. Because he has kind of a similar play style. I do like Jawan Johnson. Very interesting though, looking at it, why they went and drafted tight end. I understand 2 tight end personnels are starting to be used a lot more, but that doesn't mean you should use a 3rd round pick on a 3rd tight end. I just think it's a little ridiculous. Even though they do have Juwan Jennings and Noah Fant. Their offensive line is very solid. Obviously, they went and added David Edwards as their new left guard, but they got Eric McCoy, Cedric Cruz, J.C. Falaga, and then Kevin Banks Jr. Then they got the defense, which their defensive line consists of John Rigway III, Diamond Gotcha, and Cameron Jordan, while their edges are Carl Garrison, Chase Young, while then the linebackers are Kalen Ellis and Pete Warner, with the secondary consisting of Kool-Aid McKinstry, Justin Reed, Julian Blackman, Quincy Riley, and Jonas Stanker. Very just concerning. Like, the defense is just not great. And this is something I've had. What is my major complaint with this team is not their offense. I think their offense is pretty solid, and I think it has a potential to be maybe a top 15, top 20 offense or something. Well, this defense, I just can't see this doing really anything major because it's just not good. It's very, very mediocre, really. Like, it's not like their defense is like holes everywhere. It's just they don't have any like big time player who's going to be like, oh, this is how you're going to change the entire defense or something like that. You know what I mean? Which is why I'm just kind of on the fence of really saying, oh, this team could be a potential sleeper in 2026. But that's just me. Then, looking at their schedule, obviously they play the Bucks, the Falcons, and the Panthers twice, but they also go against the Lions, the Ravens, the Raiders, the Vikings, Giants, Steelers. Then they have a bye week in Week 8, the Browns, the Bears, the Bengals, the Packers, and the Cardinals. So that's how their schedule consists. Kind of a arbitrarily easy schedule. Again, like, you're playing in the NFC South, you're going to kind of have a pretty easy schedule. So that's kind of a consistence. So let's talk about the worst case scenario. I think the worst case scenario is you only win one game in your division, which that would be the at home against the Falcons. The rest, I think, is just you're going to get swept by every team in your division, and again, splitting the series with the Falcons. You will lose to the Lions on the road, and the Ravens as well. I do think you will beat the Raiders at home, at least. So you have like a 2-win game streak right there. You will lose to the Vikings at home. You will lose to the Giants on the road. You will lose to the Steelers in Ireland, or France, actually. I don't know why I thought that was red, or not red, green or whatever. You will beat the Browns, though, at home, especially when you have after a bye week. You will lose to the Bears and the Bengals on the road, respectively. You will lose to the Packers at home, but you will get the win against the Cardinals at home, putting their floor at a arbitrarily 4-13, which I think, funny enough, is about the same as their war last year. But I think their ceiling might be a little bit higher this year, potentially. Now, let's talk about their ceiling. I think their ceiling, they're sweeping the Falcons. That I am for sure with. You will, I think, split the series then with the Buccaneers, and I also think you will split the series with the Panthers. But that's about it. I do think, again, the first two games, obviously all the other ones apply already. I think the 2 road games that you lost to start the season is still going to be the case. But you will get the win at home against Minnesota. I think you still lose to New York on the road. I still think you will lose to Pittsburgh in France. You get Cleveland, and I still think you will lose to Chicago and Cincinnati on the road. I think you still lose to Green Bay at home. And I think, everything is basically the same from here on out, putting their ceiling at 8-9. So slightly higher ceiling than they were last year, and I think maybe a slightly higher floor too. But that's kind of about it with this team. And I wouldn't be surprised this team does consist to be a very mediocre team this year, as honestly the majority of the NFC South is probably going to. But anyways, guys, that is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoy, and I hope you guys have a fantastic day, and I'll see you guys on the next one.